This game is like no other. It's one of the best survival games I've ever played. On the surface, it looks like Minecraft. However, it couldn't be more different. Everything is so much more complex, more threatening, but so much more rewarding. The goal is to survive and hopefully make it to the next spring. Winter is incredibly dangerous and food is limited, so you have to prepare. This is the start of our journey. Hey, so welcome back. There isn't much time. We have to go. I got rid of my little shelter here. I know this is a bit of a hectic start. However, I got a message saying that there was a temporal storm coming. So we're heading over to our mob farm right now and seeing if it will work. I don't even see anything. We're actually safe. Hello, pig. There's a storm going on. Oh, okay, there they are. For a second, I was like, what's happening? Oh god, oh god, oh god, we're fine. Nothing to worry about. Our farm is over here. I want to try it there in the storm. God, oh god, oh god. Please don't spawn under me. It's fine, everything's fine. Okay, we're going in here. Hopefully nothing spawns in here. I have a feeling that they just might. Oh god, do you hear that? It's like they're playing a song. But yeah, they totally can spawn in here. I don't have water. I was hoping to have enough time to place some, but I guess that wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, I do believe they're spawning in there. There's one right there. We got another boat horn. They are hopping off. And yeah, I'm gonna spend the rest of tonight in here. What is making that noise? I think it's whatever that is right there. Oh, that's a bell. Okay, interesting. Yeah, a lot of you have given me suggestions on how to make this thing work. And something that I found out, which I'm super sad that I didn't realize until now, is one of you actually made a mod because you heard me talking about the hoppers and how I wanted them to work. And you made it exactly so. And I downloaded it, so we're gonna try it out. So thank you so much for making that. And I wish I noticed it earlier. I would have given it a shout out. But if it works, it's gonna be extremely amazing for us. We can use it for our tree farm, for this farm, possibly our farms. There's so many opportunities for it. Man, I can't believe nothing is spawned over here, by the way. I expected this entire pathway to be swamped. And I'm guessing most of the dudes that have spawned are down there right now. And they've completely taken up the spawning pool so nothing else can spawn. We're gonna go down there and just check it out. Could be very dangerous. Oh yeah, oh no. No. I forgot, I didn't actually fix it yet. So that's an open room and I'm not going into that. I hope to have this entirely set up for the next storm. Then hopefully we'll be getting some insane loot off of it. So anyway, I'm gonna keep just walking around and I'm gonna wait for the storm to go away so we can actually get a real start to this video. So see you then. And the storm is gone. So yeah, it was actually completely peaceful on this path throughout the night, and I'm kind of surprised about that. However, this seemed to work a lot better than I thought it would. And I think if I actually had that kill pit set up downstairs, we would have gotten so much loot. Is this safe? Okay, we're fine. So yeah, we're gonna be leaving and then coming right back to fix this entire thing up. But we're out. And I can see the sun again. Oh look, a cow. Are you one of mine? You are! How did you get out here? Like, I get the chickens, I get the boars, but you... How did you get here? He's making a run for the gate. Whatever, we'll leave him be. Let's just make sure that we have everybody here. I think that's my cow. So this is a bull right here. There's just a random sow here. I'm missing a boar. Oh my god. I'm losing everybody. So now I gotta go hunt down my boar. He's somewhere out there. I gotta go get my cow. So I guess I'm just gonna take these. Wait. Nope, that's another sow. Dude, what is happening? My farm is failing so spectacularly. If I had to guess, I think they're getting pushed out through this glass right there. That's my only guess. It's not even like I chiseled it or anything. So I really don't know what's happening. But yeah, this is an issue. I'm gonna have to make like a prison for all of our animals. Really make sure that they stay. Wait, what's out here? Okay, so now we have a baby cow out here. And an actual cow. And there goes the baby. Okay, so I have a bull. I just need to get this guy. You, sir? I'm just gonna leave you be. You've earned your freedom. But you need to get into here. Oh, okay, one hit. Easy enough. Now, I guess I'm just gonna go run around, look for a boar. He should be like generation 6 or something. There's so many chickens out here. What, did everybody get displaced? Please tell me I have a rooster in here. Okay, we got a bunch of hens. By the way, look. I can get so close. There is a rooster, right? Oh, no, 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 no. Guys, I think we're missing a rooster. Luckily, I can get quite close to them. Okay, get in the cage. Okay, we got him. Now we're just missing one boar. If I'm correct, I saw one out here. I swear there was one out here when I was building this farm. Maybe he left. I'm just gonna run around and see if I can find one. If not, I do happen to have some backups inside of here. They're gonna be very low level. However, it's better than nothing. Ooh, we got somebody. What are you? Okay. Well, a Generation 2 boar isn't great. I feel like we were higher, but let's get him in here. That's our backup as of right now. And I'll continue the search. Oh, we got another one. What are you? A sow. A Generation 5 sow just chilling out here. Which means that we should have a Generation 5 boar. But I don't see one. I'm just gonna peek my head outside the gates. What's the odds that I can find him out here? Not high as it turns out. He could be anywhere. I am gonna take some dirt. We're just gonna block this off. Just in case anybody tries to escape. And hopefully I just happen to bump heads with him. Hey, we're back. Yeah, see, that's a Generation 4 right here. There's a Generation 5 all the way over there. So let's get the cow back. Wait. No, that's another sow. Generation 5 though, so it's better than the one that's in the boar pen. We're gonna drop this guy down. He's my only boar as of right now. What I'm thinking about doing is out here in the middle of the water, make like a high security prison or something for one of each of our animals. Make sure that they can't get out. I swear every animal I own is just a master of escaping. But let's get our rooster back. Who knows how long he'll be here. But he's here for now. Anyway, we have everything sorted out mostly. Things could have started out a lot better for us today. But it is what it is. Now there's one in here. Are you my missing boar? No, it's a sow. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna get that mod enabled that I was talking about. Then we're gonna go over to the farm and test it out, see if we can get everything working. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay, so I've relogged and I do have the mod enabled and we're gonna go try it out right now. Hopefully all the stuff down there is despawned and we should be okay. Okay, I already hear a bell. Oh, I just noticed that this was filled up. So it's not like they were gonna come down here. I guess they were just spawning down here. Oh. Hey, dude. How's it going? This is gonna be awful with that bell above us. So that being said, we're just gonna grab one. So right up here will do. We're just gonna place a chest, a hopper on top, and a dirt block on top of that. You can see that there's nothing in this chest. And before, if I threw a block on top of this, it would just stay there and it would not go into the chest. But now, I said, but now, please go through. No, I don't think it's working. Nothing in there? No. Hold on, I'm gonna go look at it real quick and see if I did something wrong. Okay, so I looked it up. Apparently there's a new hopper, which requires magnetite, which if I'm correct, that's just iron. I hope I have some laying around. We're just gonna pick this up and bring it with me. All I need is one singular magnetite. Then we can test it back at the base. Without lava this time. By the way, I'm never touching lava near that base again, or really any structure I ever make. As it turns out, you're not really meant to mess with lava in this game. To be fair, you can't even move in vanilla. And it has some very weird properties, as you guys were telling me. I could have burnt down this entire house, or at least the wood pieces connected to it, which would have been a huge setback. But okay, do we have any magnetite? Okay, we sure do. We have 8, which is actually sad because we need 9. But this will do for one test. We're gonna make the better hopper. We'll throw down the chest, hopper, block on top, and if it works, it should just suck up this block. Okay, I think it worked. Yes. Okay, this one actually does work. It just requires a different hopper. I'm so glad I looked it up and didn't just abandon it. Yes, this is gonna be amazing for us. But here's the real test. If I put spikes on it, does it still work? Please work. It works! I thought there might be some issues with that, but it definitely works. And I'm gonna have a field day with this. Because not only do I want to do that farm, I want to do our big tree farm over there as well. I want every single piece of dirt to have one of these directly under it. And then suck it all up into a couple of chests. That way I don't have to go around looting it every time. But that's gonna require an incredible amount of copper and some magnetite. Which means I need to go find some. I think our last farm was right here. Where we removed it all. Didn't I find another one somewhere? It's been such a long time. Oh yeah, didn't I find iron over here? Okay, I'm gonna have to go search around this in the morning. But for now, let's go up here. And let's go to bed. And we're up. And I'm starving. So what I'm gonna go do is we're gonna head over to where I found that iron. I'm not exactly sure which one it was. And it's been a while. But yeah, we need to go find it. And I think today I might also put a gate over here or something. Or at least like over here. It's a bit of a pain, especially when I gotta go over there. And I gotta run all the way this way. Or all the way over there to make it over this. And if I have time today, what I'd really like to do is get some towers on this. It'd be cool to get one big tower up there as well, with some sort of path that leads up to it. Somewhere on this mountain over here. I feel like that would be an amazing spot for it. But that's a pretty big project. And we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I found it. And it took me longer than I'd like to admit. Because as it turns out, I was like right over here. And I was checking all my ladders that go down to the mantle over here. And it was one off. But this should be it. And we should be able to get more than enough. I don't even need it for the iron itself. As cool as iron is, we have lots of it. And I only need it for the magnetite so I can turn it into better hoppers. So we're just going to grab a reasonable amount. And then we're going to head out of here. But I will mark it down this time. So in the future, when we need a whole bunch, we can come back and grab it. Alright, so we just got 67. And I think that should be fine. When we break it up, that should give me a whole bunch. And at the very least, it's a good starting point. Okay, so we're back. And I've replaced all the hoppers with the better hoppers. And they're all connected up to this chest. And I just made this room look nice again. By the way, I did catch this thing in here. That's a part of the primitive survival mod. And this is the second one I've ever seen. Like, they're incredibly rare. And I can't loot him. But yeah, it was very interesting to see him just hanging there when I came down here. He's like a giant fish creature or something. But anyway, we have all this set up. Is there anything in there now? Yeah, we got 2 flax. So it is in fact working. And the bodies do seem to be disappearing on their own. Except for this guy. And hopefully he just disappears over time as well. But I'm going to leave spectator cam over there. And I'm just going to go up and run around. Lure a whole bunch of stuff into that pit. And hopefully we get some good things. If I can get one singular Jonas piece out of this thing, then it'll be a success. I'm just going to be doing this for a while. And I'll see you in a couple of days. Okay guys, so it's been about less than a day. However, I have been doing this overnight, just walking back and forth. And we've been stacking up bodies down here. I also noticed that there's been a shiver inside of this wall for like most of the time. Is he still in there? He might have despawned. Okay, I think he's gone. Let's see if it was all worth it. Oh wow. Okay, so we got 2 cylinders, 7 of those scraps, 4 regular rusty gears, a bunch of metal parts, a whole bunch of flax, and 2 temporal gears. Okay, so that was kind of worth it. That was like, what, 30 minutes of walking around? Like, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't that bad. Wait, I think there's one in the wall right now. You can see his foot. Are you in there, buddy? No, I think he's definitely above me, so it's cool to know that he's not coming in this room. But yeah, one of you told me that, hey, just doing some panning is more worth it than this. Which may or may not be true, but I think the end goal would be if I could go panning and do this. Yeah, see him? Hey guy, I don't like this. I don't think I have to walk around up there. I think I just need to sit up there and potentially I'll make it safe. And we could just set up some like water and I could just pan. I know from experience not to do just regular sand and we can do that bony sand. So perhaps sometime soon we'll go out and do a whole bunch of exploring and just pick up as much bony sand as I can. And then I could do that while just sitting there letting these guys grind up. I think that could be a pretty cool idea. Oh, there's definitely people above me. Eventually, we're gonna have to make a real entrance into this place. That way it isn't just this. And it would also be cool to get some sort of drop so I could just drop all the way down and not have to take the ladder every time because that is a long trip down. But let's get the boat horn. Yep, sir, you gotta die. Yep. And he's dead. You'd think he'd stay away after what we've been doing to his friends. But yeah, I'd say that this was a big success, and I don't want to spend any more time on it than I have this video. I think we've done enough of this for a little while, and we need to get back to work on the base, because I've been putting that off for a little bit, and there's so much more that needs to be done. For instance, I need one of these right here to be moved over there. Then I need a whole bunch of towers within this wall. I'm kind of considering just taking this right here and using that as the tower, so I could just copy paste this like a bunch of times down the wall. We'll have to evenly spread it. Maybe I'll add a roof to it. I feel like a roof could be cool too. I don't know. It already fits the style. We've already built it, and it would be easy to just add a bunch of these throughout the walls. Then hang some banners off of it. Maybe a flag or so. I feel like the flags need to stay on the little gatehouses, right? So I think that's the plan. Just get a whole bunch of these up, and it'll add a lot more variety to this flat looking wall. However, before I do that, I think I want to take this and just bury it real quick. I've been meaning to do that for a while, and I don't see why not. First, I gotta count how tall is this. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so we just gotta go down 17 blocks, and then that should do it. Or at the very least, I should line it up with the front of this door over here. That way, when I do the underground tunnel, it'll completely line up with it, not be like a couple blocks off. So the underground tunnel would be about here, but there's no reason why I should guess it. So this block right here is 169. Now we gotta go over there and remember that number. So we're just gonna put that block there. And how many more blocks does this need to go over? The very edge would be touching right here, which is not the wall. I was a little bit concerned with that, but that's fine. If I wanted to dig it down exactly where it is, it would have to be right here. I think we're gonna move it like 4 or 5 blocks over. So this could be the center, and it wouldn't be so close to that wall. So I think this is exactly where it's gonna be, and all of this has to go. Yeah, we might as well cut down the bamboo, and hopefully I can get these. I can. Okay, sick. I don't want to lose it all, but let's get cutting. And there we go. That should be every single last bamboo. Then we also got to cut down some of this ebony. At some point, I do think I want to be repopulating a lot of this area with trees. I think it looked really good back then, and I might start doing it with the redwood. I think that tree just looks so insanely cool, and you could see it from the outside because it towers over the walls. So we might be sticking with that one, to be honest, and just put a bunch of those around. Maybe I can mix it up, add some smaller trees in here. Definitely not these, because I think they look ugly. Possibly ebony, just because I think it's so cool that we have a bunch. But there we go. I think that we should be completely fine to set this up, and nothing should be getting in the way of it. So let me tear this down for hopefully the last time. Let's get to it. Hey, so welcome back. So I didn't intend to do this yet, and I wish I was recording for this, but I kind of just threw this up in a really big hurry. I didn't think I was gonna stick with it, so I didn't record it, and oh god, I'm being chased. Not good. Let's get him out of here. So yeah, anyway, we have this now, and all I did was just add this little frame here, brought it up, I chiseled it to make it look smooth like this. Then had these circular columns that just hold this up, copy pasted up there. And I didn't think I was going to stick with it, but I kind of like it for what this is. And I think it would be cool to add it on this side as well. Plus, I was talking to some people in the Discord, and I could potentially use this again and make it like super tall and add different layers of this going up, so like little towers. And we might just end up doing that. We could have like one of these for each kind of tree. I think that would be awesome. Whenever we need something to build with, we just cut down one of these and then replant them, and we'd pretty much be set forever that way. So I might end up doing that, but for now, this is what we have to work with. And now I gotta connect an actual path to it. That way we can cut it down from the bottom, because right now I have zero way of accessing this. Hold on real quick. So it's about 97. However, if I go 2 blocks down, I assume that's like 95. And we need to connect up with it through our tunnel, which means that we need to go make the tunnel. And it's really funny that I made the tunnel go the other way, because I didn't want it intersecting with anything I was going to do out here. But now we're just going to completely get rid of that idea. We're going to make it go under here. Now, I don't believe the tunnel is even that deep. However, it might not connect with some of this. And you got to remember, this is exactly the middle of it right here. At least I hope the tunnel is going to meet up with the middle of this. I don't actually know if it connected with the exact middle. But yeah, the tunnel is supposed to be right here. And it's going to go through here. So we might end up seeing it go through like right here-ish. And maybe a little bit over there. But I can always remove some of this dirt to make it look cool. And it's something I'd like to do. I think it would be cool to see this tunnel under here. It'd be kind of hard to see it sometimes, but we'll light it up and make it look super nice. And yeah, we're going to go try that right now. So real quick, we're at -169. Let's go to the tunnel and see if it actually meets up with the middle of this. Let's see. Wait, 169. So I actually did do this perfectly. And I didn't think I was going to do this perfectly because usually I'm like one block off. Also, look at this. I'm at 98. Which pretty much means I'm going to link up perfectly with our tree farm. We're going to have to go like a block or two down. So we could have like a staircase right here that just dips a little bit. And I think that would work out pretty well. I'm super excited to expand upon this area because I do think it's one of the best parts of my base. And I am just in love with these doors that I made. And it's time to expand upon it. So yeah, I'm going to get to work. The plan is to just dig this all the way over to our tree farm. And then I'm just going to throw out the same design that we have, but we're going to definitely need to alter it a little bit once we get to the water area, which I fully expect to be a pretty big pain to do, but we'll get it done. So I'll see you guys once it's done. So welcome back. I have definitely done some stuff. Now you guys have already seen me build this. This tunnel is so much longer. Look, it goes all the way down there. So I decided not to montage this entire thing, but here it is. We have such a long hallway now, and it goes all the way down to the end where our tree farm is, and it works out pretty perfectly. I even added these little door frames here because we have them right here already, and I figured it just looked perfect. And yeah, we have so much room for activities now. However, you might be able to tell that it's not done because it is all the same hallway. And the plan is to remove a lot of it and make it see-through. That way we can see up into our world. Technically, I'm still under our base right now, which is wild. Right about here is where the lake starts. So we're going to be taking this right here all the way down to over here where the lake ends. And then we're going to make it see-through. Something I'm half considering is just making this little part right here where we have that little white trim around the square. We could potentially just make that see-through, and that might end up working. And it's just an idea that I'm floating right now. Yeah, see right here, this is the end of the lake. So we need to go from here all the way down to there. And it's quite a bit. However, if we keep going, we hit this dirt wall, which is definitely not how it's going to stay forever. But if we open it, we can come all the way down to here. This block right here is the block that we need to remove to cut down the tree. So once we remove this, there should be logs right here, which we just cut. And then the entire tree falls. And hopefully very soon we can put hoppers and make it so it all auto collects. So we just cut it down and then replace the block. And then we'll have a bunch of chests here that get filled up with all the sticks and logs and stuff. Make it a lot easier on me. But that's going to require an insane amount of copper, and we'll get to that some other day. However, I figured I'd work on this with you guys and then get some of your feedback. So let's go upstairs real quick because I feel like showing you where it is might give you a better idea of what we're working with. So it is a bit dark out right now, so it'll make it a little bit harder to see. However, it's always a little bit difficult to see from up here. You can see that is the path right there. So yeah, it's about 3 blocks under the water, which I really hope isn't going to be an issue. I'm not entirely sure how that big boat works. I have a feeling that I should be able to go over this, but if not, that's going to be a major issue. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see, and when you can see it, it looks quite awful right now. So if we go ahead and remove some of this, yeah, you can see that's the wall, but even that just looks awful. But we're probably going to end up removing this dirt. Then we're going to need some sort of thing connecting to outside, so every 5 videos or so that we actually get a glimpse of it, we'll be able to see it. I think with the glass on this, and it's going to be well lit up, I think it should be quite visible from up here. At least that's what I'd like to think. See, right now, you just cannot see it. And even when it becomes daytime, it's still pretty difficult to see. And you gotta remember that the mod that I have makes things in the water so much more visible. If I was playing completely vanilla, there'd be no shot that I was gonna be able to see that unless I was directly on top of it. But luckily, we got it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And I didn't think it was gonna take as long as it did. Not gonna lie, every time I do one of these big projects, I think it's gonna be pretty quick, and then it's not. I remember when I thought that this building was gonna be pretty quick. And it's still not done. It's getting there. I like this room. But even that room needs a lot of work still. Also, it would be really cool if I could somehow connect this right here with the tunnels underground. Maybe I have a staircase that goes down or something into it. It'd make it a lot easier because I always get confused when I come up here and I'm like, why am I going up and then down? Not a big deal though. See, I think that room with that staircase is literally behind that wall right there. So potentially we could have a staircase maybe connected up with this right here, this wall. Although the reason why it's not finished is because that is the dirt out there and we have a very thin wall. I would have loved to have this on the inside in this entire room, and it would have looked so much better. However, I didn't really plan for it, so it's not very viable. I'd have to completely redo this room, or at least the outside walls, to get it to work. But I could see myself doing that. Either way, I think I have decided that I'm gonna at least try to make all this glass, just the stuff inside this trim, and see how that looks. Also, potentially, this trim right here, I could replace with QP chisels. It has a white light that we can add, so it looks like white RGB that goes around instead of that white, and it could really light up the ceiling, but I think it would be extremely good for the underwater bit over here, so we might end up doing that as well. But anyway, I'm gonna go get my stuff and then we're gonna get to work on that. Hey, so just a quick update, guys. I was starting to work on this, and I figured I wouldn't do too much. That way you guys could see some of it, so I don't have that tree farm problem again. All that I'm doing right here is I removed the blocks that this wood is right here, and I'm taking this frame, and I'm just extending it up to that block. Those blocks right up there are going to be removed as soon as I'm done, and that should be water. And I'm going to place a very thin piece of glass on the very top, so when we're in here we should be able to see the ocean, and hopefully that looks all right. And if it does, then I'll be able to put some sort of pattern in this, and I'm not doing that now because that's going to take a while, and I'm not even sure that we're going to be keeping this design. So I'm giving it a quick test, and if I do like it, we're going to work on it a bit more, then make most of these exactly the same. However, stuff like over here, where we're not under the ocean, I'm going to leave it as is. This is just for the water. And let me tell you, it's been a pain, because this right here is like 5 blocks, but this 5th block is only a piece of that block. And I did not make this easy for me. And right now, I'm trying to get this glass on, but it's very hard to see. I already have some glass here. But when you start chiseling it, it is such a pain and so hard to see. Oh god. Which, if you're wondering why I haven't done too much with chiseling glass, it's because of this. I just cannot see it. And if I somehow miss some blocks here, it's gonna start letting water through, which would suck a lot. So I'm trying my best here to get this all filled in, and I'm gonna spend some extra time on it just to make sure that I do, because we're gonna be copy pasting this to a lot of them if I end up liking it and then sticking with it. So I want to make sure that I get this right. So anyway, I just wanted to give that quick update, and I'll be back once I get this all filled in. Okay, so I think I got it all done, and it looks mostly filled in, so we're just gonna get rid of all this real quick. Then we gotta go upstairs and remove the stuff on the top. Okay, so it should be pretty easy to spot out here. I think it's this right here. So if we remove it, we should see some glass. There we go. Just get rid of it all real quick. And yeah, we can see down, and I guess some water is definitely getting through. But how? I don't know why it would be doing that. Maybe because of the back stuff here? We'll go ahead and fill that in. Maybe that changes it. Oh, I think it did. Okay, that is so weird. Why can't I fill this in right here? It looks like I should be able to. Oh, is that glass? Okay, that's glass. That's why. We'll just go ahead and fix that real quick. And good as new. See, right here actually pulls me into this block, and it was kind of pulling me up. I wonder if we could use that with boats to make like some very alpha Minecrafty boat mechanic elevator or something. That could have been pretty cool. But let's go back downstairs. And see how it looks. Okay, so that definitely looks cool when we're down here. You can just barely see the water. And there's a lot of these particles that are coming off. And it's actually kind of funny because directly under it seems to be the darkest spot. Which that is very odd. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about these particles, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that shouldn't be happening. Okay, that's actually a lot more visible than this. Especially if I added some RGB to around it. I think that could look pretty cool. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And I'm just gonna copy paste that to all these. And then we're gonna have to add some outside frames to it. What I'd like to think I would do is I just take that little pillar system that I have, and then we can connect it from the very bottom of the lake coming out. Obviously, we got to get rid of all this dirt, then clean it up, and then we can have that little top bar piece right there be like in the middle between each of these windows. I think that would make it look kind of nice. Maybe we'll have to do some more to it too. So anyway, I'm going to be copy pasting this to all these, and I'll be right back. And here we are! I just really had to show you guys this. At nighttime, it just looks so cool from this angle, and I think it could look so much better. Yeah, so this is what it looks like from this angle. And I won't lie, it could look a little bit better. I was hoping that the water would be a little bit more visible down here. It just looks like the glass is a little bit cloudy. But other than that, it's really hard to tell that we're underwater right now. But it definitely opens up some cool underwater base stuff. Honestly, you can make a really cool underwater base in this game. There are no sponges, so it's a little bit more difficult, and you gotta fill in each block, but it's definitely doable. However, yeah, here it is. Look at the base. When you come up on the base, it just looks so cool. And I'm really glad we did this. I didn't have to do this all underground, and we could have just stuck with being upstairs. However, I think this was definitely pretty cool. One of the reasons why I'm not going to be connecting a bunch of tunnels to this is because I definitely want to stay above ground. As cool as it is to have like a big underground thing like this, I want the upstairs to be so much cooler. And fun fact, that is exactly why I enabled the option so I couldn't farm underground. And it was just simply because I'd be forced above ground, because believe me, I could see myself spending hundreds of hours just chilling in here making like big underground rooms. And maybe one day I'll do that. However, I'm trying my best not to do that this playthrough, even though the underground is calling my name. But we're trying to make a village, not become dwarves, okay? There will be time for that. However, yeah. We have most of that done, the inside anyway. We can definitely add to it. I highly expect that we're going to add some sort of RGB to it, and it's not even like that visible. So I think making this look pretty good is going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to remove all the dirt on here. However, I'm going to be leaving like stuff over here. The dirt that connects with this right here can stay. And I'm sure there's some over there, but most of the dirt walls is going to go. And I think my pillar idea is going to work perfectly. Each of those right there that connects the two pillars is just going to go in between these. And by the way, it bothers me so much that we have these little notches here. It's fine. We won't even see it when we're upstairs. It's going to be completely unnoticeable. But yeah, I think the pillars would make this thing look super cool. So I think we're about to do another time lapse of me doing all this. And hopefully then we can finally be finished with this. The tree farm will be finished for now. And then we can finally start to work on finishing up our walls. Then, I'm not going to lie, I think I am going to be doing a pretty big project. I'm thinking about doing the next video as one giant montage thing about this entire village. I really do think that these buildings look pretty okay, and it was definitely better than my first buildings. However, I think I've progressed a little bit more, and I have an idea of how to make these look better. Because here's my real thoughts on these buildings. I think they look fine. However, they give me huge Minecraft vibes, which isn't a bad thing, but doesn't feel very vintage story-y. I think the beams are really saving it, but I think we can make these buildings look a lot cooler. I thought it was gonna look cool in the beginning by making all the houses out of plaster and stuff, but I think we used a bit too much of it, to be honest, and all the houses look way too similar. So I want to build each of the houses like out of different materials. And when I built these, I made them like this square and stuff, and then we have all these big windows, and I didn't really build them with the interior in mind. So if I want to build an interior in here, it's gonna look a little bit weird. And that's why I've been putting that off. So what I'm thinking about doing is raising all these houses, just completely removing them, and trying out some of my new skills that I've learned, and trying to make some really cool houses. Make them all super custom. The interior is going to be one of the first things I think of. We're going to try to make each of these houses nice and cozy. And next video is probably going to be one giant montage. It might even be like 200 days of me just completely filling out this entire land here and making a true village. And that would also include little things like little market stalls, like places for them to sit, little specialized buildings. Wait, I see a boar over there. But yeah. I have big plans for this village, and I think that's going to be the next video. And I've been completely putting that off until I got this wall up. And then the mob farm over here really got me sidetracked. I feel like we're almost ready to get this done, and I think that's going to be the next video. Okay, so it's a sow, generation 5. I think, am I correct by thinking that this sow was over there? Is that the same sow and you've already migrated over here? I'm glad I put up the gate, and we even got a chicken. Tier 6, by the way. Very interesting. Plus, yeah, I also want to do some above ground animal stuff. We're going to make like their own pens, stuff like that out here, where they can get some sunlight. Maybe they'll stop running away. And there's so much for us to do. So please expect my next video to take a little bit longer, but I hope it's going to be worth it in the end. Either way, sorry I got a little bit sidetracked there. I'm going to get to work on this tunnel. I just want to make it look sort of nice when we're out here and we occasionally see it. By the way, look at this. We got little crabs around our base. Now that is from the mod. And honestly, I don't know if they drop anything. Come here, crab. Okay, so he is dead. Let's go ahead and loot him. Do I get like crab meat? I do. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, it's so rare that I ever see these. They're all over our tunnel. That's so odd. But we're gonna get to work on this. We're gonna leave them be, and I'm gonna just get rid of all the dirt real quick, which is gonna be difficult because it's all underwater. So let's get started. So here we go. This is what we're left with, and it doesn't look too good on the outside right now. However, I have an idea of how to make it look better. I think I can take this right here, copy it, paste it onto here, and it's cool because it already links up with this. And I can do that all the way along this. Then I can also go ahead and take this right here. We'll just copy that. Then we can just copy it onto this right here and then rotate it in this way. So I can do that all along this. Then we also gotta grab this right here. We can go ahead and just place some birch across here. And then paste it onto these. Rotate them, of course. And we gotta connect it to this. Rotate it. And there we go. See, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. We can do that in between each of these. Then I can take another block like this, place it here, copy this, and then place it down here. Wow, the water is really fighting me right now. But we can just place a bunch of blocks all the way down to the bottom, just like that. Copy this little middle piece here. And then connect that all the way down to the bottom. I'm about to start drowning. Let's go back up and get some air. But yeah, this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing here. Once I get all these connected, I think it'll look a lot better. Plus, we got to do something with this corner here. So I'm just going to copy it real quick. And we'll paste it to this block. And we're just going to work it a little bit to make it look a little bit more smooth. There we go. This is what I'm thinking. It's not going to look anything too special. But again, we're barely going to be able to see it. So it's not like it matters all that much. We can go ahead and just copy paste it to all of these. And yeah, it'll have this nice little slanted look. It won't look like we just have a random wood block here. And it'll round everything off just a little bit more. So we're just adding a couple more of these. That way we can get a better picture of how it looks. And there we go. Oh man, I'm like stuck. Oh crap. Water is so terrifying in this game, I swear. But here we go. This is pretty much what it would look like all the way down. And also, you gotta remember, it's gonna be very difficult to see anyway. Like, from right over here, we can just barely see it. Even on the stairs, you can't even see that chiseling that I did. Unless I, like, zoom in on it. And there's no shot that we're gonna be seeing that from even over here. So we don't have to get too crazy with it. Because we're only gonna be seeing it if we're, like, right here up against it. And even then, it looks fine. So anyway, I'm gonna do this to this entire thing. And hopefully it turns out well. So I'll see you guys in a minute. And we're back. So I pulled the trigger and I added RGB to it. I kind of knew it was coming. However, I wasn't fully sold. And I think I am now because it just looks so cool. And now we can actually see it from everywhere. Like before, you could barely see it at all from over here. And now it just glows, especially during the night. I tried adding blue because I figured blue would work with the water. However, I think red would have also looked super cool. But I'm not entirely sure that it would have fit the aesthetic. But yeah, I do think it looks super cool. And if you remember from before, we could barely see it from here. Now we can definitely see it. But real quick, we got to go downstairs and see how it looks. Yeah, so it looks pretty cool. And it's not like this entire thing is glowing. I think it would have been a bit much if I replaced all that plaster with it. And I think this was the best use for it. And yeah, I definitely like how it looks. It would also be pretty cool to get a pattern on this plaster. Like a nice black trim around the bottom here. And maybe something in between it. And it might even be worth it to add some sort of like frame in the middle of it. However, I really do like how open it looks like this. And we can only barely tell that there's water above me when I'm moving. You can see how it all gets a little bit wavy. But I'm not entirely sure if that's a water thing and that's not just a glass thing. But it's so cool. We got an awesome skylight down here. And I can say I'm finally happy with it. And I think we're going to keep it. Now, something I also do got to mention is that it is quite visible right now. But you got to remember that we're going to be covering it up a bit. Like right up front here is going to be a big dock where we can keep our boat and stuff. Hopefully it's gonna look super nice. Then I definitely want to add some stuff to this lake, like a couple of chisel boats, stuff like that. I'm still debating putting something in the middle of this lake. I think that could be super cool. And hey, maybe we connect this with whatever I want to put in the middle of the lake. We could have a staircase go up to it or something. There's definitely potential there. And yeah, I think that this is gonna be a little bit less visible when we're done with this. Either way, I'm pretty happy with it, and perhaps we'll try to upgrade it as well sometime down the line. Make it look even nicer than it does. So if you guys have some suggestions, please let me know. But now I gotta do something that I've been meaning to do for a while. And I'm gonna quickly, for you guys, but not for me, get some towers up on those walls behind me. Also get another gate behind this building, and maybe add a little bit more detail to all of it. I think that's gonna be a massive change for this place, and it will add a ton of detail to these walls, and finally open up the opportunity to start work on the village. And remember, once we get this village up, I can finally start to work with that mod that adds all the villagers and stuff. I think there's also some trader ones, and I've been waiting to update our village. That way we can get to work on that mod so that we can finally fill it and bring a lot of life to this place. So enough waiting around. I'm gonna start working on the walls. So see you in a bit.